find ourselves doing something a little different. We're driving the old 1953 Nash Rambler. This is my old bathtub Nash that I painted mint green, and then it has some accents, candy apple accents, which I'm not sure that I like. And it's a cold fall morning. It's crisp, clear, sunny, and the trees are all shedding their beautiful leaves. Had a long summer, or long warm fall, and the trees are just taking their sweet time. Leaves are sucking up all the juice and turning beautiful colors. It's really amazing. I've got my sidekick with me here in the back seat. She's just sure there's a squirrel ready for her. Beck and call. We're headed to work. We've been driving this Nash a little bit lately. It's a great winter car. It has a heater. You can probably hear it. Let me turn it off. It's a 6-volt positive car. It doesn't have a lot of extra energy, so I can either run the lights or the heater. Not both. Well, I can do both, but the battery doesn't charge well. And of course, it's got vacuum wipers, so that doesn't take any energy. But it's a great old car. I'm going to fix a few things on it. Every time I drive one of my cars, I realize how much stuff is broken. And today's no different. We'll do a little video when we get to the shop and show you what I mean. I think my third headlight, the one in the center of the grill, is burnt out. And that's one of my favorite things about this car. I gotta fix it. So, thanks for coming along on a early morning drive with me on my way to work. It's beautiful. Just want to show off the beautiful Portland scenery. And driving an old flathead Nash with 6-volt positive. Started right up on a 40-degree morning. It's pretty amazing. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, as promised, we made it to the shop this morning in our old upside-down bathtub Nash. I love the skirts on the front. It was a 1 or 2 year only. I think it was 53, 54, and 55. They opened up the skirts and made them round. Also improved the steering diameter radius. This car has terrible turning radius, but it's pretty cool. But the one thing that I love about this car, the one thing, is this light in the center of the grille. I had it as a daytime running light. Basically, it comes on with the ignition. It's 6-volt positive. This is a light out of a scooter. The lens is. The bulb is burnt out, I believe, and it bothers me because that's really a key element. There's supposed to be a Nash emblem, like a globe that's there. It's kind of a clear plastic, whatever they used back in the 50s, and it deteriorated and looked terrible. So I found this light and just siliconed it into place, and it's been great for the last couple of years. But I noticed last night at night my third eye wasn't working, so I gotta take it apart and see if I can rebulb it. It's got a strange bulb in it. I may have to convert it to some other 6-volt bulb, but I think I can handle that. This car just looks good. Tons of compliments. People just love it. It's dirty. It's been out in the rain. It's actually a great cold weather car. Much better than my convertibles. And Stella doesn't seem to mind, except she can't get her head out the window to bite the squirrels. That's probably her biggest... That's her biggest complaint, isn't it? She seems happy. Heater works good. The wipers work all right. They are vacuum operated wipers, but I do have it set on defrost. They are randomly intermittent depending on your placement of your foot on the gas pedal. They go fast at idle and slow under load. But if you want your windshield to be wiped, you just take your foot off the gas. The other thing is it fogs up a little bit. No window defogger on a 1953 Nash that's almost 70 years old, so that's a bit of a problem, but that's okay. It does have good trunk storage, and that's actually why the window fogs up, is that water beads up here on the trunk, and when you open it up, there's no gutter. The design of it, all the water on the trunk that's on the top lid of the trunk just runs into the trunk when you open it up wet. And I've got my clean coveralls for the shop and some household garbage to get rid of. It has a good sized trunk for loading goods. You wouldn't think it would, but it's got a great sized trunk. You don't have that on microcars. Good morning, two-stroke turbo fans. There is Freedom flying overhead. It's an F-16, F-18 Tomcat taking off from the airport above the shop today. And what do we have? We're working on an American car. Those always come out in pairs. Usually every morning we have a flyby by awesome Air Force jets. We're working on our old American car here. This is our Nash Rambler. It is a 6-volt positive car. You guys have seen me do the head gasket. You've seen me do the body work. You've seen me do the painting. You've seen me detail the engine compartment, although it's a little dirty. I still haven't done my heater box and my battery. I do run an Optima gel cell 6-volt battery. It made all the difference in the world. That battery is 10 years old, literally 10 years old, and it still starts the car. These things are hard to start on a cold winter's morning. And my light has gone out, my Cyclops. If you can see there, I've got a center light in the grill. I think I explained a little earlier how the world emblem was missing, or it just delaminated, fell apart. And I substituted it with a scooter light. And I've got my probes out. I have it wired up so that it just comes on whenever the ignition's on. And I really like that. That's my favorite part of this car. People just like, what the heck? A Triclops is what I call it, or Cyclops, is a single light, Triclops being 3. And I really want to get this working, so we're going to go through and figure out what we got to do to fix it. I'm pretty sure it's burnt out. If you look in there, you can see the dark. It's got a big bulb. The bulb is about 1 inch in diameter. It's a really strange German scooter light. I think it's off a Puch, if I'm not mistaken. And it's got one of the old-fashioned German bulbs, which is 6 volt, but it's completely burned out. So I'm gonna fix it. All right, so I tested my wires. I do have 5.79 volts going to my Triclops light when the ignition is on. I siliconed this in here many years ago, and it is stuck. I had to use a screwdriver to kind of break the seal. I can replace this bulb. I don't even know what it is. It's got 3 wires. It's a Stanley. It's an old Stanley light. Did a good job of siliconing that. Let's see if I can get the bulb out. Wonderful. It is not a replaceable bulb. The whole unit is like a sealed beam. Let's try and get a new one of these. 15 watt. Wow, I might have to, because that bulb is huge. I can see how the size of that bulb in there. There's no way to get it out. Huh. Okay, so I've identified this light. It came off of an old Honda scooter or Honda mini trail bike from the 60s, 6 volt. What I'm thinking about doing is slicing off this bulb holder, which is not replaceable, and I've got a universal 6 volt bulb here to put. I took my porting tool here and I made a hole in the back of the lens, and I realized that this socket's not going to work. It's only got 2 wires, a high circuit and a low circuit, and the ground is part of the housing. So this housing is going to be siliconed into the grill and unlikely to have a good ground. So I found another socket that actually has a ground wire to it. So the bulb is 100% grounded. Drilled out the hole and then got this to go in there. I'm going to silicone it so it doesn't wiggle around, or maybe I'll put this gasket in. Cleaned out the inside of the housing and wiped out all the broken bits of glass because that old bulb was larger than the hole. I had to break it to get it out. And I really want the incandescent look. I don't want an LED look on an old car. So you can see the sockets in there. I think that's going to work. So now we just got to put it back together and wire it up. Okay, so we got our ignition turned on. We have our new socket in. I did get the foam in there so the socket doesn't rattle around. And I always have to wrap my brain around positive ground. But we have a nice bright incandescent light. That thing is bright. So I'm gonna permanently mount this thing. I gotta scrape out all the old silicone that I used last time, do the same thing over again, and probably put a dab of silicone on the socket there. But now I have a replaceable bulb. I did find these lights available on eBay for Honda Trail motorcycles, but they're expensive, $45, and I just fixed it for a little bit of time and a little bit of work, maybe $5 in parts. So put this back in and get my Cyclops working again. Be awesome. Okay, so we got all our tools and everything kind of cleaned up, siliconed around the edge of my Stanley light here. Make sure that's drying fine. The socket seems to be holding well. Let's turn it on. All we gotta do is turn the key on. Hopefully it'll light up. I think I've got, let's turn the key on. So we should have, yes, we have the generator and the oil pressure light, which means the key's on, and I saw a reflection on my toolbox. So, oh yeah, there we go. That's pretty bright, actually. It's on, you know, that's a basically an 1157 6-volt bulb. It's on the high beam circuit. I hope it lasts. It should. It's nice and bright. People will see me coming. That's pretty good. I like it. I fixed my car. I fixed the favorite part about my car. That's even better. And it was pretty cheap. Just took a little time. Thanks for watching. We got our Triclops back in order. Take it out tonight and see how it is. I really like driving this car. And of course, when everything is fixed and working right, one gets a great sense of satisfaction. And another sense of satisfaction is an outro with my shop dog Stella laying in the sun on a cold but sunny late October day. Well, actually it's not that cold. In the sun, it's nice and warm. It's supposed to be 65 today, which is kind of crazy, but I guess that's okay. Stella, we love you.